Everyone, my name is Laura Schifrin, and I'm bringing the meeting to order of the Planning Board for April 1st. Hope everybody has enjoyed your day. At 6:31 p.m. I'd like a roll call vote, please.
Carol Hofstas present.
Robert Therian present.
Andrew Shepherd present.
And Laura Schifrin present for the Planning Board. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you to all of our veterans and all of the military that are serving now, and also to our first responders. Appreciate you all. The meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Town of Townsend YouTube channel. And we'll go right into the public hearing. There will not be minutes at tonight's meeting. At 6:32. In accordance with the provision of Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 5 and 11, and Zoning Law Bylaw, Article 12, Section 145-69, the Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, April 1st at 6:30 p.m. in the Selectmen's Chambers, Memorial Hall, 272 Main Street, and via remote access Zoom link. Regulations as follows. Zoning bylaws. Article 16, 145-86, Renewable Alternative Energy section entitled General Requirements for All Large-Scale Ground-Mounted Solar Power Installations. Remove fees from bylaws. Article 4, Special Provisions, 145-52, Outdoor Lighting Bylaw repeal, to replace it with a new outdoor lighting general bylaw. 145-36, Accessory Apartments in Residential District, corrective administrative edits. Planning Board Rules and Regulations, Article 2. 175-8, definitions. 175-9, general provisions. 175-10, general requirements for applications. 175-11, procedures for A&R applications. 175-12, preliminary subdivisions. 175-13, definitive subdivisions. Appendix E, Planning Board Fee Schedule. The proposed amendments are available for review at the Office of the Planning Board, Land Use Coordinator, and the Town Clerk at 272 Main Street. During regular business hours, parties wishing to speak in favor of or in opposition to this proposal may do so in writing prior to the hearing, or may appear at the hearing in person or represented by an agent or attorney. Interested parties are encouraged to attend. And also under the paragraph that I just read would be Article 5, Stormwater Regulations, 175-38, Administration, 175-42, Fees, 175-44, Stormwater Management, Erosion and Sedimentation Control Plan, parentheses, Stormwater Plan, 175-45, Operation and Maintenance O&M Plan, Operation and Maintenance Plan, 175-31, Hearings under the Scenic Roads Act. And then that was respectfully submitted, Laura E. Schifrin, Chair. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I did.
Sorry.
I just said that after I read the last paragraph. So it will be on the record.
Okay.
You know.
Thank you. Oh, you gave me that.
Okay.
Great.
I saw that.
Is there a sign-up sheet?
Well, you don't have to worry about it.
Well, I just read the opening of the public hearing.
Sorry.
So for that, I will now have a roll call vote of everyone here. Is that not correct? Everyone around the table, and then whoever is online is going to announce that they're here. It's a public hearing.
Carol Hoffs is present.
Robert Therin, present.
Yeah.
Shepherd, present.
And Laura Schiffern present. And then we have bylaw committee members here,
Natalie Call present.
Bill Cadigan present.
and to the,
Robert Therin, present.
okay, Robert has
Michael
two hands
Brown,
on tonight.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Michael Brown, present, bylaw committee.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
Teresa Morse, President Liaison from the Board of Selectmen.
Okay, and are there any members of the public? Okay. Hartley, would you just let us know if somebody from the public does come in? I'd appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay, so the public notice has been,
Bylaw review committee call to order. If you like to let Bill call them to order.
Bill, do
Have we
you,
got a quorum?
I was just gonna ask you that. There's only
I don't
three,
think three
and
is a
Teresa's
quorum.
a liaison,
Can't use a liaison.
and you're a
One,
liaison.
2, 3, no, 4.
Wait,
Yeah.
don't-
4 of us. is-
So we don't have to
Don't
open
worry
a
about it.
meeting because we don't have a
Yeah.
quorum.
It won't.
Okay,
We'll just
and
do.
the tape will reflect that.
Yeah.
Board review amendments, and then additional components. So, the first two were from the bylaw committee, and Bill, I'll hand it over to you, or whoever you would like. And that would be Article 16, 14586, Renewable Alternative Energy, Section C, entitled Requirements for All Large-Scale Ground-Mounted Solar Power Installations. And that says remove fees from the bylaw.
We didn't do anything with
Do you want me to screen share?
ground mounted solar installations.
You didn't do anything?
No.
No,
Do you want me to,
not recently.
But, did you,
no, but solar bylaw is the planning board.
oh, we removed the fees. Does anybody have any questions?
We are removing the fees.
Yes,
Right.
they're going to a fee schedule,
That's right.
all of the fees.
Right.
So just for clarification, any fees referred to tonight, any of the bylaws, the planning board has removed all the fees, and it will go to a separate fee schedule, which will be at the end of this, actually,
Should we explain why?
just to have them all in one place.
Well, so that we don't have to adjust the bylaw every time
Yes.
the fees. We only have to adjust the fee schedules
Right,
and not the actual bylaws.
okay. Thank you, Robert. That's correct. I'm sorry, Beth. I
Okay,
thought that you had these two up here under zoning bylaws for them to do first. Oh, that's what I just read.
Yeah, here we go. This sheet, public hearing now. So
Okay.
you're all set with 14586, now you can move to 14552.
Okay, outdoor lighting, Bill?
Just, oh, the upper light.
Hartley, can I have a
okay.
screen sharing capability, please?
Excuse me?
I was just asking Hartley if you would allow me to screen share? No? Okay.
With regard to the outdoor lighting provisions,
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt, but who wants the screen share?
Beth,
Sorry, I'm not logged in yet, sorry.
Right, okay. I'll let you in as soon as you log in. Sorry for the interruption.
Got it.
okay, thank you, Harley.
Thank you.
so yeah, we're basically, at the present moment, we have something called public outdoor lighting in a general bylaw. And we have, private outdoor lighting. Doesn't really say that, but it must be, if it's not public, it's private, right? So, that's in a zoning bylaw. So the plan is to put it all in a, general bylaw. So, we've got an article that, will, do both in the same article. It will install the general bylaw, lighting bylaw, and it will delete the zoning, the existing zoning bylaw at the same time, in the same article.
So it'll no longer be a zoning bylaw.
Correct.
It'll be a general bylaw.
Right, yeah. And the provisions have been upgraded slightly based on the latest technology. Because I forget when was this done, Michael? In the 90s, I think, right?
The latest version of outdoor lighting bylaws was 1997.
Yeah, okay.
And both the public and private versions, which
Yeah.
have a lot of the same language, they were both passed within months of each other, in 1997.
So anyway, there's been advances in technology, lighting technology in particular, since then. Most people are using LEDs
Yeah,
for outdoor lighting. So anyway, there's a couple of changes to the bylaw, but the principal act is to move it from zoning to general bylaw.
so just for informational purposes, do you find, or is part of this because of the brightness of the lights?
Well, it's always been about the brightness of the lights
But isn't
to some
LED
extent.
brighter?
Well, it's more about the fixtures. What we've done is we've added in the new version of the bylaw, we've added diagrams to try to make it easier for people to understand what's going on. But basically, the requirement has been to have a full cutoff light fixture outdoors. So even on your house, it needs to be what they call full cutoff. So basically what it is like, if you think about a theater light, it has barn doors on it, so the lighting guys can target whatever exactly they want to target. So a full cutoff fixture has just got a fixed barn door around it. So you can't, if you're standing off of the property, you can't see the actual lamp. You see the light coming down onto the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been the law, and it hasn't been enforced, and the building inspector didn't want to enforce it. It's been a pain to enforce it. So
basically, is the bylaw, the general bylaw, is this going to instruct people as to what they can use for a fixture?
well, no, not necessarily, but it does call for full cutoff, and if you go fixture shopping, for outdoor fixtures, and you say full cutoff, the salesman will understand what you're talking about.
Okay.
So,
If you want, I could expand a little on it. So basically, this proposed bylaw would keep a lot of the same stuff, really the same language it's in the current bylaw. So the number one main part of it is requiring full cutoff lights. So that's been true even earlier than 1997, but definitely since 1997. Now, it doesn't apply to all lights. There's actually a pretty major exemption, which is that lights below a certain brightness level are exempt. And it pretty much means that the typical light that like a homeowner would have around their house, in most cases, would be below the threshold. But if it's unusually bright, then it might be above the threshold. But it really covers, bright lights, like typically in parking lots, on commercial buildings, the kind of lights that are really bright and it just says no light above the horizontal, which is another way of saying full cutoff, as Bill was saying. So that's like the main requirement. That doesn't change. The other main requirement has been limits on height, like 25 feet is the limit on the height, and even less if you're right next to a property line. So the new version would make that more flexible and more enforceable, which is that there's not a strict limit on height. If you don't want to follow the height limit, there's just a limit on how bright the light is at the property line, which could be measured. So that's actually more flexible, but I think better, easier to enforce. And then beyond that, it's just clearer. There's the diagrams that Bill was referring to at the end. There's a whole page of, pictures of lights that do and do not meet the requirement. There's some new requirements on sports lighting, which just reflects that actually more flexible than the current bylaw, but specifically tailored to the technology that's now available for, stadium lights and that sort of thing, to make sure that they don't go out into the surrounding neighborhood. There's a provision about color of lights. Again, not the typical homeowner light, that would be exempt, but a bright light would, to try to avoid the very bright blue end of the spectrum that really causes bad glare. It's actually an American Medical Association recommendation for outdoor lights. So, and that's something the town's been following for several years on all the new lights at public buildings, to have it more in the warm end of the spectrum as opposed to the blue. So that's about it. That's in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Can you just tell me, just for clarification, so that the public knows, does this affect current lighting? In other words, once this happened, does everyone have to conform to the new, or is it just new construction or some new renovation type thing, exterior?
Yeah. New construction, I mean, if it's legal now, if it conforms now, if it's a light that conforms now, then you wouldn't have to change it. So it would apply to lights that are installed after the bylaw. Now, the full cutoff, the shielding requirement, has applied for arguably 50 years, because even the 1970 zoning bylaw said, you shouldn't be able to see a light from outside the property. So, there's not a specific grandfathering for that, but anything new in this bylaw, like the thing I just mentioned about color or the sports lighting requirement or anything like that, the height requirements would be for future lights.
Okay, and so if you don't currently comply to what supposedly was there for 50 years, is this new writing or making it a general bylaw, who's going to enforce that?
God, I can't remember.
It's the town administrator or the building commissioner or one of their designees is the way it's
Okay.
written.
Okay, just for clarification, I understand that. But that's what it would be. Okay. Anything else on the lighting bylaw?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so next is 145-36, accessory apartments in residential district, changes proposed by the bylaw review committee.
These are changes that basically there were a couple of requirements in the existing bylaw that didn't make any sense. So one of them was typically if you're doing an accessory apartment, you get with the Board of Health or you get with their agent, and you find out what they're going to require. So if you've got a house that's you've got a septic system that's certified for 4 bedrooms, and you've only got 3 and you're adding 1, you probably don't have to make a lot of changes. Although the Board of Health thinks that if you're adding an accessory apartment, it's a change in use. So they may require you to bring the septic up to current specifications. But in any case, we don't want to get involved in that. But the problem was that they said that basically the applicant will have had to have completed the septic system upgrade before applying for the permit. It was one of those things that we didn't notice until we started trying to use the bylaw, and we definitely ignored that because it wasn't the right thing. But I'm trying to fix that. So on procedures, 1A, applicants shall obtain and submit to the Board of Appeals a written report of the Board of Health explaining that the changes, if any, to the existing septic system have been agreed to by the applicant.
Okay,
And that simplifies that.
okay. It's on the screen as well as,
Oh, okay.
I printed it off, I
And
see
then
that.
in item C, I don't understand where this came from, but we were supposed to, if we didn't do what the planning board wanted us to do, we were supposed to explain why. So my reaction is, if the planning board would like to be the special permit granting authority for this, I mean, I'm all for it.
Probably not.
But anyway, I changed the wording on that so that the Board of Appeals shall give due consideration to the mandatory referral reports of the various boards.
Okay.
Alternatively, you could strike C altogether,
See?
because that's process and procedure anyway.
Well, it is, yeah.
Do you want to strike it all? And it's at various boards, I don't know, it doesn't sound very technical, you know what I mean, for a bylaw? I don't know,
Well, mandatory referral is defined in the bylaw somewhere.
but various boards is a little bit vague, is my point.
Uh,
I don't know.
Well, we
Yeah,
could
but
do-
then it would, but you always, don't you, doesn't the zoning board
any special
send out
permit,
to all,
yeah, any special
aren't all
permit
the
has mandatory
departments
referral.
contacted anyway for a referral?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. So my suggestion was to simplify it, just strike it, but it's up to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I could,
I
I
don't,
could
I
get
don't
along
have a
with that.
problem, striking it because it has to be done anyway.
It's due process anyway, yeah. It's state law, actually, part of
Right.
chapter 48.
So
Right.
it doesn't have to be our law.
Thou
it's just-
shalt do what 48 says.
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, we could delete
I don't
that if,
Any other
if
comments
everybody's
from the
agreeable. I
board?
don't have a problem with that.
Less is more. Well, I had written to, the review committee regarding, part of the bylaw and recommending that we eliminate the affordable component of it.
Let's just deal with this one,
Oh, Oh.
just see.
just
For-
see.
Yeah, we're not done. We're,
Oh,
No, I
okay.
mean,
The recommendation is, Beth, I mean, it's procedure.
yeah, for
So-
the pre-approval, on the health
For the
department.
board of the, well, from any of the boards, because they get it, the zoning board of appeals gets referrals from all the boards.
Right.
And then they should generally take that into consideration, right?
Right,
yeah, absolutely. They're getting better and better, the mandatory referrals. I mean, they used to be kind of a waste of time, but people are actually.
Yeah,
saying
well, I
things
think
now.
people wanna, if they have a concern, they wanna express it,
Yeah.
and each of the boards do discuss it,
Right,
so.
absolutely.
Are we good with removing C?
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Okay, planning board is good with removing C.
All right, good.
Is bylaw okay with that?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah.
Michael?
Worth, yeah.
Keep it simple.
Keep us-
Okay, KISS method's good to me.
Yeah. take it out.
Okay, now down on 2A1.
Yeah.
Okay, the bylaw says the area of the apartment shall be the lesser of 800 square feet or 35% of the floor area of the principal residence and apartment combined. And so that's been, I mean, we didn't have the 800 square foot max in the original version of the thing. So there
But the
are
or
a
is
few.
Still there.
There are a few bylaw apartments that exceed 800 square feet in town.
Do they exceed the 35%?
No, they didn't, because we
Okay.
had that,
Okay,
it complied, but this is the lesser of 800 square feet or 35%. Okay, so 800 square feet is the max, no matter what 35% comes out to be, right? You can have less than 800 square feet, but you can't have greater. But anyway, there's a few apartments out there, and the way we're doing this now is we say that the special permit expires on transfer of the property. The original law, we gave the special permit a 5-year lifetime, so that people would have to come back in and renew. So, and people were not doing that. We sent, we had a hard time keeping track of who had them and stuff like that. So, I just add the words, in the case of an expired permit issued under previous versions of the bylaw, the applicant will not be expected to reduce the square footage of an existing accessory apartment. Because I think that's a bit harsh. I mean, so say, oh, well, you have a bigger apartment than we allow now. You should reduce the size of it.
Okay,
Not practical.
okay. So because this has been a problem as far as the permit renewals or people reporting that,
Yeah.
I don't see why, once they're granted a permit, that they should have to come back.
On transfer of the property is the way we put it.
Oh,
That's all. They don't have to come back in 5 years.
Why even at the transfer of the property?
yeah,
Well,
it's in the assessor's hands, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because the permit's granted, the assessors go out, they check it, they know what's there. It doesn't matter who buys it. If the people are gonna change it, they have to get a permit if they're gonna make a change. But if it's gonna stay the same, it's just a switch in ownership of the same structure.
right.
I would get out of that business altogether and let the assessors take care of it.
Well,
I'm speaking as a
thought.
member right now, you know, and somebody who deals in real estate. It's not necessary.
No, we just had a person up on, I think I was on Wallace Hill, that the bank made them take the oven out. So that,
What the bank does, we don't care,
well,
okay?
yeah,
That
but
has nothing to do with us.
the applicant cares.
I'm sure the applicant cares,
But I mean,
but that's their financing.
yeah, all right.
Yeah, but the bank probably picked that up on zoning.
Or the appraiser said something,
Yeah,
who knows
right,
what?
Yeah.
Right.
But that's not our business.
Well, I mean, these are some, basically tiny changes to make it easier for the zoning board to deal with this bylaw, that's all. And, if the bylaw doesn't really say what we want it to say, we're liable to get sued by somebody on that point, and the town is extremely unhappy about lawsuits these days, so. But as far as how we,
You granted the permit?
Yeah.
Zoning has granted the permit.
Right.
Why do you have to grant it again for the same property? Why do you think there's gonna be a lawsuit if you do not have that in here?
no, I'm saying about these changes that I'm making, but you're arguing about whether we should have the permit expire, and that's a whole different question. It's not really, I'm not making any changes to the bylaw regarding that. That's just our practice is to do that, is to make them expire on transfer of the property. And we're happy to listen to other things, I mean.
Yeah, but we are changing the bylaw. Why do we even have it in here?
It's not in there. I don't think
Oh,
it's,
it's, okay, you're just referring to the reduction of the size.
Yeah.
In case of an expired permit,
right,
sorry.
I agree with you, Lori. I think that's from a user experience,
Yeah,
makes it more hopefully easy.
where
Less
is
things
that
to keep
in
track.
here?
it's not,
Oh, it never has been.
no.
Why'd you bring it up?
Why did I bring it up?
Yeah, because that's what made me go off. All right, healthy discussion, all right.
We clearly have some issues with this bylaw.
Okay, sorry about that.
Then we go to, the next page on this one, let's see, what do I got?
Is the next thing B?
Yeah,
Adequate provision?
Yeah, as indicated by the report required in C1A above, just to make clarification that it's not an additional requirement, it's just. And that's adequate provision, that whole phrase is out of the special permit criteria, that's why it's there. And then ingress and egress, that's been an issue, because people come in and say, oh, we're gonna go out the window.
Yeah.
So my comment is, okay, as long as the building inspector approves, if they, yeah, whatever ingress and egress they want, it's fine, as long as they bring a note from the building department that the appropriate building codes have been observed. Because we're not gurus on building codes. So we don't want to make any rulings on ingress and egress out of left field. And that's really it. I hear what you're saying, and I don't know, I think we could have a discussion about that, how to change that. But I mean, this stuff we're doing now is basically getting our feet wet with this bylaw review committee and seeing what we can do. And the plan is to hire some consultants to go through the entire bylaw and make sure that it relates to, you know, the real world as it exists now, because it dates from the 80s, you know, the bylaw, current bylaw.
Okay, you can speak to the affordable now.
Okay. I absolutely agree with the requirement for, we got to modify the section about getting a septic approval before you apply. I think that's just appropriate. I have no problem with the 35% of the building square footage. On the 800 square foot limitation, I just encountered a similar thing in the city of Pittsburgh that has a residential district where an accessory use is allowed by right. In other words, by right. And what happened is one of the people that owned property there had a vacant lot. And he's building a new house. So it didn't fall in the typical scenario of adding on to a house. And his particular house had a sloping walkout basement, and he wanted approval to build out the finished area of the new house. So the difference was that this is not an addition. This is part of the core house itself. So he had to go to the zoning board to get a variance on the square footage. So I think to protect all scenarios is much simpler just to keep it 35% of the building and not limited to a specific number of square feet. That's only because of what happened in that instance that I even would discuss that. Otherwise, I would have accepted the 800. But so in that scenario, if the building is already there, and he's really not adding on to a building, so in other words, if this is 1,000 square foot building and we allow a 35% increase, so it'd be a third more, that creates an image. In other words, there's a building there now, it's going to be made larger. We don't want the addition to be larger than the house, so that all makes sense. But if I have 1,000 square foot house there's a 1,000 square foot basement. The building isn't getting any bigger. It's just the space is already available. And why should the homeowner be punished or penalized for not taking advantage of the space he has already available? And so that's why I would suggest amending that to eliminate the 800 square foot limit. Unless you want to keep it for additions only, then that would clarify that. You know, we could keep the 800 square foot in terms of an addition. But if it's not addition, then the owner should have that by right. I mean, if he's allowed to have an accessory unit to begin with, and in that scenario, he shouldn't be denied the opportunity of using all the space he has available already. So that was my point on that.
Okay, can we just stick with that point,
Yes.
please? Carol, do you have any?
No, I kind of go with what Robert said, the 100 square feet, because if you're finishing a basement as an accessory apartment, it's not adding any square footage. Would be like finishing a basement for a playroom. But I could see having the 800 square feet maximum for an addition.
Well, the bylaw committee's not proposing to mess around with any of that stuff at the moment.
Okay.
And I know Lori wants to make this as of right.
Yes.
I've heard that. But, you know, I'm rather fond of the special permit approach, given all the constraints that are on this process. Plus, we're allowed to take into consideration the situation with neighbors and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So, where, you know, if you do as of right, you know, the town has no idea, and I don't know how, if it's hard to enforce a special permit, it's a lot worse to, if you had these criteria as of right, it would be hard to enforce them.
Well,
I think it's better to take a look at these things, but, you know,
the other
I guess
point,
I'm old fashioned.
Me too.
well, the other point is, you know, society's changing a lot, and there's a lot of people that can't afford housing, and so, I mean, in terms of what's happened in the past, and in terms of what's best for the community in the future, with the housing shortage that's here and the cost of housing, I would think that we should try to provide some provisions for the people of Townsend to take advantage of as much as they can in terms of an accessory use, you know?
Okay, Andrew?
You know, I don't know if this was the nut we were planning to crack this evening in terms of this debate, but I certainly would lean towards whatever makes the user experience, you know, more beneficial. I like the idea of by right, but I don't know if that's the discussion we were intending on having or the nature to which Bill was reviewing the bylaws. So I don't know if that's a discussion for a different day or if that's something we would try to.
Well, this is all gonna be presented to town
At
meeting.
town
Sure,
meeting.
sure.
Right, so
And
we
it certainly
really,
could be amended. at
so
town
we can
meeting.
take it and amend it at town meeting
Sure,
if
sure.
we wanted to.
When's the town meeting?
May 9th.
May 9th?
Hmm.
Okay.
May 7th, right?
So,
May
whatever,
7th.
Yeah.
somewhere.
Early May.
So the difference is,
Be a Tuesday night.
if we present it as a
Sure.
total change now,
Sure, sure.
the discussion would just be about that and
Sure.
explain it once. If you do it as an amendment, it's going to take more town meeting
Sure.
time
I'm sure.
to get
Sure,
people to
sure.
understand what
Get
we're
it all in
doing.
one,
Right.
Yeah.
And so if it's presented ahead of time, it's in writing and
Sure,
people
sure.
see it, rather than coming off the floor with an amendment,
Sure.
which they don't see in written text.
I mean, I'm supportive of the by right approach,
I do too.
you know, especially in the way the economy is today, having people the ability to let their kids or family members join them.
Okay. And in terms of any language about egress, I don't think we have to get into that because
No, it's the building inspector
it's a building code thing.
for the permit.
So it shouldn't even be in there as far as I'm concerned. And then the real question is expiring. And so if we do it by right, then we don't have to renew it every 5 years and we don't have to
You
deal
don't have
with,
to do that anymore anyway.
Um,
So you're solving a problem that doesn't exist now.
I'm sorry?
I said you're solving a problem that doesn't exist. We don't have the 5-year renewal anymore.
Okay, they took that.
All right, well, we'll take that out. And then the other part was the legal language related to the word affordable. I think that's an unfair burden on the property owners. And it should be not related to the legal definitions of affordable. So that part of it, I had great exception to. Because it
I
has,
guess excuse me, but I'm having trouble understanding why you would wanna, we haven't done any background for this. There's no warrant articles to delete the whole bylaw.
we're not deleting it, we're modifying it.
Well, if it's as of right, you're deleting it.
No. It's an accessory use. It still would be.
Well, okay, we'll see.
I would really caution here, I mean, if you're gonna make changes, you have to make them now. This isn't something I would suggest trying to make on the town meeting, annual town meeting floor, as those who've been working on the committee know that we've worked very hard with legal council, town council, to make sure that the language of this as it is now is appropriate. If you do decide to make some changes today, then you would at least have chance to work with town council again, but I wouldn't suggest considering making those changes in May. And I certainly think you have to be very cautious about the affordable housing, because that is a standard that's already we're required by that by law. So you need to be very cautious with that, especially, and make sure you work with town council and the board of selectmen before making any changes to that portion.
Thank you, Teresa.
Yeah, any substantive changes right now, this is not the time. It's just not. Yeah.
So I guess a question though would be, we have accessory apartments. Do they all have to be affordable? That's a question.
No, they're designed for in-laws, okay?
Right,
If you run out of in-laws, then you have to go
yeah,
affordable.
family, I get
I
it.
agree, it's a bit of a constraint,
It is, it's a big constraint. It's not,
but that's what the
Okay.
planning board wanted at the time, and, the zoning board had nothing to do with that, okay?
okay. My opinion on the 800 square feet, lesser than 800 square feet, is not good. I think, is there any way this can just be 35% of
Sure.
whatever is added? And to your point, not something that's within the structure.
I think that's entirely within the scope of what we're trying to do here. If you wanna delete the 800 square foot maximum and go with the 35%.
So it would be an increase in footprint of 35%.
But if it was within the dwelling, like you talked about a basement,
Right.
okay, which may or may not get approved anyway for that use, depending on egresses.
Right. So if we eliminate the 800 square foot requirement, it addresses all situations.
Yeah, because it can be lesser, but it can't be more than 35% of an addition.
Exactly.
Are
Simpler.
you okay with that?
I'm okay with it. I have no idea what town meeting is gonna say, but you know.
Let's try that.
I would. Are you guys, everybody okay with that?
Yeah,
I mean, if we're trying to help people, I don't know. This way, it's up to 35%, you know?
Right. No,
So
like I
that's-
say, there's a few
should we
apartments
tighten
that are
that up
bigger than 800
in
square feet.
terms of an addition.
But that seems to
Do we
be a
need to?
You don't need
reasonable
to.
number for most people.
You don't have, apartment shall be lesser
Shall be,
lesser than 35% of a floor plan area of the principal residence.
I think we have to clarify that, because in the basement scenario, it would still, that could be interpreted only 35% of the basement.
But
Yeah,
this,
but I don't
but
think-
this is
I don't-
addition.
I don't think.
Does
we
it say
might-
specifically addition?
The floor area of the apartment shall be lesser
Hmm,
than 35% of the
Right.
floor area of the principal residence
hmm,
and the apartment combined.
right.
So if you had a 2-story house with a basement, then the basement is it's 33% of the floor area, roughly.
If you use the whole thing.
I don't,
He's right.
Yeah,
hmm,
He's right. You
I
have two
know.
floors. This is gonna be your third floor. That's 1/3.
right, but if it isn't 2 floors,
Oh, and it's 1 floor.
right. So I'm saying, basically,
I guess.
we need to, we
50%.
have to clarify an
Or
addition.
40%.
It has to say addition, an increase in building size. And then you're
We can
okay.
We could spell it out to say, not including the basement, or whatever council says.
no, it's that's never been an issue, the basement or not, that I recall, or
No, I mean,
it's
yeah.
living.
we haven't done anything special for basement, and I don't recall
That doesn't mean
anybody.
though it couldn't happen.
Never had
Yeah,
it. So,
If you're gonna finish a
It's
basement,
about
would
floor
it
area.
matter?
I mean,
if you put it
it's
down?
just a clarification
Of
here.
living space, right,
Right.
of floor area.
I mean, if you have a boiler down there, you have to close that off. You got
Well,
utilities,
yeah.
hot water heaters.
Everybody knows what an addition is. So if we can tailor this for an addition, cannot exceed 35% of the same language that's there. It doesn't prohibit the basement.
But does the existing bylaw today prohibit the basement?
No.
No,
No,
I have
so,
no idea what.
so I
square
would
footage
just leave it
is.
alone and just go to 35% and just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And
I
Okay.
don't think anybody's gonna have a problem with
Is there a
that.
comment from Teresa?
No, we're good. Sorry.
All right, so how would you like to word that? I have it on the screen now. So we would, once you read it and see how it reads, the floor area of the apartment shall be what?
No more than 35% of the,
square foot of the house dwelling.
Perfect.
okay?
You take
Do we want to
floor
add
area, Take out floor area.
do we want to add the occupied square footage?
Living space?
Yeah, because
The
if
term living space?
somebody's got a 3-car garage, we don't want that included.
35% of the living space.
Living space, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
mean, we usually delete staircases and stuff from square footage measurements, so
Well, living space then,
Yeah, living space. will work.
said.
we haven't had a problem with that.
Okay, what's next?
Did you want to address the affordability issue?
No, yeah.
I don't think we can on this, on their report.
Why?
I think it's gonna need some study.
I think it'd be worth asking town council.
We do have grant money.
There are all kinds of laws written.
We have a
about
grant, we have a grant
affordability.
coming to do
You
that.
can't change it, you
Yeah.
can't change.
I wouldn't
the
be
law.
comfortable doing anything tonight
Yeah,
myself.
you can't change what's written in law.
Okay, so anyway, Beth has told us there is a grant coming to study that, because we've had an issue with how affordable housing works, not just at planning, but at affordable housing,
Yeah.
the committee, and, right, Natalie?
Yes.
So,
Oh, yes.
So-called affordable housing.
yeah, they're gonna have to do something.
Yeah.
Because they're imposing too many,
Restriction.
Restrictions.
not just the restrictions, but too many, units upon the town.
Yeah.
To have into affordable, but we're not in a position as a town to be able to do that. So even if people wanted to have affordable units, agree to affordable units, it is extremely difficult to go through and very costly for a homeowner to do it. It's not affordable
Right,
for a
Well,
homeowner to
we've
do
got
it.
Right.
we've got the age-restricted housing, and there's one being built over there, but it's not exactly affordable.
It's not affordable.
exactly,
And I don't understand.
500,000
right.
Yeah.
So,
for each unit.
I mean, so it's a deceptive term. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's senior housing. It's done under senior housing. That
Right.
that is not affordable.
No, it's senior, it's
Restricted housing,
for
Yes,
seniors.
right.
Yeah.
But there are many affordable programs, and all of them have legal definitions and terms. Here, we're talking about accessory units, meaning, do we as a community want to bind those people to only being able to lease them or rent them later to affordable programs that are in existing under their requirements and laws and restrictions? Or will they just have the apartment by right? And I think, that's what I am opposing here. We're allowing accessory units, and it should be an option for an owner to decide if he wants to enter an affordable program or not, rather than having it right in our bylaw that it mandates it.
I don't read, is it mandated? It doesn't seem mandated.
It
It
is.
does, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's a hard bylaw.
Yeah, it's tough.
But like I said, it's the planning board's idea.
Well, hopefully we
Well-
can get some help regionally on that. But the biggest thing is the state.
Yeah.
Going through the state's mandates is not affordable. It may be affordable for a developer where they would have to do a percentage of whatever it was they were doing,
Okay.
but it's the same restrictions for a homeowner who only wants to do one.
Yeah.
It's not feasible.
Can I suggest something maybe that might be able to do? Can we approach town council with this ahead of time if we just eliminate that whole affordable component?
It's not just the process of town council, though. This has already been voted on by the planning board. We also have, by 2025, we have to have an affordable housing plan, which we have to submit, so we're using this as part of the work. Now, my goal, my hope is by the time affordable housing gets into mandated, that they'll take into consideration all these type of things that you're saying. But I think to make any changes now, I just think it's going to be very tricky, but you're certainly more than welcome. That's just, I'm just
I
saying.
don't think we can touch
I
that
get
this
it.
meeting, so,
I'm not doing
this meeting or this annual meeting,
Okay.
okay? But it is.
I go with the
it's on-
board, I just,
It's on the plate of a lot of,
right,
different
right,
departments
I just
here.
want to bring up the topic and,
Yeah. Okay.
all right, I did that one.
So now we're getting into your stuff? Any attention to the consolidated rules?
Can you put that up on the screen? Because I have all the papers, but I don't know where we are. I mean, I know one of them is a fee schedule and,
Page 15.
page 15. Now, what do you have on the topic?
Just after the accessory apartment, it says introduction to consolidated rules.
Right, so you're going into the regulations now? I have it on my phone. so I don't-
Is it, do we start with 175-1,
No,
Article
because
1?
you have no amendments proposed.
Oh, yeah.
75.9.
Okay,
We're into 175.8.
175.8. Okay, subdivision?
For definition.
Oh, definition,
Just
okay.
striking perimeter plan. At the advice of town council, it's not necessary.
Oh, the definitions, is that
Oh,
one
perimeter
seventy?
plan, yeah,
Oh, perimeter plan, yeah, okay.
unnecessary.
I don't even see that.
It's,
Under definitions, under.
Where's definitions? Oh,
should have put page numbers on this stuff.
yeah, I know.
No page numbers.
Perimeter plan is struck out. Okay, fine. All right, so then for the next,
175.9,
oh,
strike surface where circumstances warrant and the opinion of the board of special.
employment of outside consultants, yep. Okay, that's number 2. We just struck out the whole thing.
That's the one on 175.9?
Yep.
Okay.
And then, let's see, under here, can you tell me where the next one is?
175.10. General requirements for applications.
Oh, actually, there's one before that. Also. We're on that page now.
That's right, 'cause I'm not seeing
Mm.
175.10.
Oh, that's
No, right
stroke
here.
description through, and that's
Okay.
added.
All right, so under 1, the burden of proof in all matters before the planning was added, board shall be on the applicant. The burden of proof shall be on the applicant. Okay, it says burden of proof, E.
So I think, didn't you say 175.10?
10.
Yeah, that's general requirements for applications.
No, I was just looking at an underscore, and that was, okay, 175.9, that.
I have it on screen if that helps, or can you read it?
Well, under this,
So just
before 175.10,
that
you
page.
have on that page where it says E burden of proof, you have planning underscored on 1.
Right, because it was added. You had asked, the board decided that putting planning board in front of
Okay,
everywhere it said board
okay,
makes sense for clarification.
okay, all right. So that's there on 1, and then, 175.10. What number, under 10?
It says general requirements for applications, erosion and sediment control.
Well, number 3 has a cross out.
Under D, plans. Under B, we eliminated CD-ROM as a file format to receive plans.
Under B. Plans B. Yeah, well, okay, we added digital image in PDF format and eliminated CD-ROM.
You eliminated CD what?
CD-ROM,
So 80s.
they're not,
Okay.
yeah, they're not doing that
Yeah,
anymore.
that's right.
Oh, it should be here then too.
Yeah.
Under 3, Beth, All plans must be 24 inches by 36 inches unless otherwise approved by the board. Plans showing lot changes shall also be submitted in digital format on a CD-ROM.
I'll make that.
Just some
So
digital
that should be
format.
digital format
You want to strike it out
via
again, right?
PDF, right?
All right, I'll make the notes.
Well, a digital format can apply something that can be altered. A PDF primarily can't be altered.
Correct.
Right, so I think we want to stick with the
Yeah.
PDF.
Well, that's, yeah,
It's a
Yeah.
surveyor, it's
Yeah.
the surveyor's copy of the,
Correct.
or any, surveyor's PDF.
Okay, so that's,
If you have a PDF editor, you can. you
I'm
can
sorry?
mess- If you
Yeah,
have a
you could.
PDF editor, you can mess.
They
with it.
still can, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom, if it changed under.
let's see what I'm saying. But I thought that was being eliminated.
I did too.
Okay, so when you go to continue on under that one and go to F, rejection of incomplete applications, were we leaving those fees in there? Or is it here because this was for something different? This
Those
is,
were for the discussion that the board had.
yeah, per the discussion, because they were incomplete. So we went to 150 instead of 50 and 300 instead of 100.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Hmm.
We were trying to get all the fees out of
I
these
know.
things.
Well, no, not out of the regulations, that's fine.
On what?
It's fine in the regulations, they're a lot easier to change a regulation than.
Oh, okay, that's it.
Yeah,
Okay, we're in the
You guys-
regulation, so,
you don't have to go
okay.
to town meeting for that.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, okay. All right, so those changes are there. And under, if you go A, C, A, E, the required fee is specified, and then it leads you to appendix E, which is the fee schedule. Okay?
Okay.
And then you go, same thing under B, fees for A and R.
Right,
Okay, same thing, it just takes you to the fee schedule.
Right.
And then the example is taken out.
Okay.
So if you go further down there, line 1, 2, 3, 4 is all crossed out because those are fees. Next page, B, under, there's title and then B, an arrow pointing to the north. An arrow pointing to the north. Okay, so that's like an edit. That's from looking at a lot of plans.
Now, when
Okay.
You're talking the parcel ID number. Do you want to say the assessor's map number instead? I mean, or is there something called a parcel ID now that I've never heard of?
No, a lot of places do call it parcel ID.
Yeah?
Yeah, if you look at your tax bill.
The
think it
assessors are
says-
calling it parcel ID now? Okay,
I think
it's on the tax bill.
Well, I think it's on the website where you look up your property.
Yes,
Yeah, sure.
It says
Parcel ID.
property
okay.
card,
Map and lot.
yeah.
but it really is the assessor's map number, correct?
Well, it's identified two ways,
Or is it a
but the
different?
main category is parcel
It
ID.
is parcel ID.
And then you go to your parcel card, and then it talks about zoning and everything else in there.
Okay,
Okay, so you got B, you got J, then N, easement language shall be provided instead of furnished. Again, that was an edit.
Okay,
O, location of all buildings or structures on the plan. Again, that's like clarification. And forget that page. I don't see anything until D. Is that correct, Beth?
right.
And that is a cross out of the last 3 sentences of that paragraph. Because those are no, we don't have those anymore. The latest edition of the approval not required handbook. Mm-mm. Okay, so that's gone.
Yeah,
And then the fees were in, if you go to E1, there is an increase in fees there on the last sentence. Again, it was, I don't know if that refers to the, compliance with the requirements on the application. Okay, and down to, okay, planning board was inserted, but that's gonna be everywhere where it said board, it's gonna say planning. And then for planning board is crossed out land use coordinator and or building commissioner prior to submitting preliminary plans to determine the extent to which the planning board feels a preliminary plan is advisable. Okay.
that's all right.
Yeah. And 9 prints and 1 digital file in PDF format is added. And then the PDF format file can be a flash drive or emailed to, it's the address, which is an addition. Going to E, written identification of crossed out, identification, all anticipated waiver requirements in writing. Beth?
Number E,
Well, it says identification is of supposed to be crossed out?
Should be identification of all anticipated waiver requirements in writing. Okay, so yeah, O should not be.
It looks like a cross out.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, you're right.
Okay, probably an underscore because it was added.
so that stays.
That stays, identification of all anticipated waiver requirements in writing.
Mhm.
And then the following B, subdivision plans require an application fee as specified in the appendix.
Right.
Okay, that's taken out.
Right.
Those fees are taken out. In addition, separate consultant fee as specified in the appendix is required for review.
That's fine.
Okay. And then we go to under name of subdivision, C, and, oh, another arrow pointing to the north.
Right.
Okay. Alrighty, going down to N. Resources, let's see, waterway is crossed out and resources in a general manner. Proposed total area of land disturbance and noted proposed areas of disturbance to slope steeper than 50% is required. Okay, that is what we voted on.
Right.
S, the zoning classification of land, including any zoning boundaries, historic districts and overlay districts were included. Let's see, add-on, and for clarification. 7 was added, existing and proposed utility connections. That was in addition for identifying things. Yeah, nothing under engineering review. Page. Okay, I'm gonna go sideways here. Following code does not display images or, did I miss one?
No, it's just, I won't be able to show you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is, yeah. In there we have some additions. This is general provisions of definitive subdivisions. Under 1, we've crossed out, it is clear that such, and just put if such variance. Again, that's just an edit for clarification. Where an application is dependent upon an open space, this is added. Open space preservation development OSPD, or open space multifamily development, OSMD, special permit. Those are added. Then either is crossed out. The permit must have granted and either is added. The appeal period must have elapsed with no appeal or all appeals must be resolved, and further is added. All conditions of any is added. Such permits that may be met prior construction have been met. Alternatively, the application shall be accompanied by the OSPD or the OSMD. Application in the latter is removed, in which is included. Case the applicant shall include a written extension of time of frame for decision for the board to be 90 days after the close of the public hearing for a special permit. Okay, those were edits that we made. If you go down to general process is removed.
Yeah, that's a big mistake. That should not be deleted.
Okay. All right, that's why I'm
Okay.
reading out loud here.
Okay, good, yes.
Okay, and number 1 was totally deleted.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Reinstate that. I apologize, that one was not, should not be deleted. Well, B should not be deleted.
Okay,
So,
and 1?
reinstate, no, 1 is fine, 2 is fine, 3 is fine. So in number 2, you can see that there were, like words added, and so I don't know why the strike through went through all of those, so I apologize.
Okay, so 1 should not have stricken out.
Correct.
Okay, that will be changed.
No strike.
And number 2 has additions and strikeouts, so the strikeouts are wrong.
Correct, except for, yeah, so.
Yeah, so the
strikeouts
additions
all
are correct.
Yeah.
As assigned administrative staff, okay, within its
So,
ability, okay, added, soon as possible was added, and everything else is supposed to be there, okay? Number 3 has a strikeout to the 3, but I don't think that's supposed to be there.
No.
Okay, so
Oh, number 3, yeah.
what we added was or assigned administrative staff and legal notice of public hearing. So that should be there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Number 4 is all struck out.
That shouldn't be.
Right, that's supposed to be in.
Yep.
Number 5
Same.
should all be there.
Yeah.
I wondered about this, because I printed this off. Okay, so now on the next page,
Yeah, yeah.
that should be there.
Yep.
No changes to that. That should be there. There was, under number 7, next to the last is an insert. Draft decision is an insert.
Mhm.
Board members or their designee will endorse. And, okay, that's an insert.
Mhm.
And then file said decision with the town clerk, that's an insert.
Mhm.
And then the abutters will receive notice of decision, that's an insert. Okay, so all the lines are supposed to go back.
No strikeout through,
Okay,
8,
and
9, and 10.
no strikeout. And there's inserts in, has expired within the appeals period until any, if appropriate, has been added and endorsed has been added. Comes back in. Okay. Under C, applications, nothing under 1. A has, a strikeout was definitive application, and what's added is definitive subdivision approval application. Correct?
Yeah, that's the.
Okay.
name.
And then in B, National Pollutant Discharge Elimination Systems has been added. Okay, I'll explain that. Some of these had just, like an acronym. And we asked that it be spelled out, because who would know what it is unless you had a guide in the beginning. 4, there is, deliberate, yeah. There's 2 E's for for errors, is that correct?
Well, the lower E should be stricken, but maybe, yeah, the lower case E is stricken
Okay,
because it starts with.
okay, errors, okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you don't want to hear the rest?
I'm falling asleep,
Okay.
sorry.
Sorry, all right. Thank you for coming. Okay. Whether or not it has a strike, and then it has whether or not included. Okay.
So, yeah, that's fine. There's no change, in other words.
Okay,
Yeah. No change.
all right. And then, deliberative.
There's an addition.
That's an addition.
Yeah.
Shall be done. Okay, very good. All right, those are good. 5 also is all struck out, is.
Yeah, because of 4, it was
Okay.
corrected.
Okay,
That's a good one.
okay. 6 only has whether, in other words, whether or not was struck, and then whether was inserted,
Mhm.
such data, okay?
Maybe that was what was supposed to happen in 4. Yeah. If you wouldn't mind going back to 4.
Well, it says whether or not.
I know, but I'm wondering if you see how town council did these.
Oh,
I'm
it should be
wondering if
whether.
6 should be the same as 4, whether substantive or deliberative.
Okay,
Okay, so strike or not.
right,
Okay.
should just be whether.
Sorry about that. Okay.
And then the next one is all struck. It's number 7.
Yeah.
Unless otherwise indicated in writing per the application. Constitute active intent to abandon existing use of property, such abandonment should be reflected. Why do we strike that out? I mean, that would be a situation that could happen. I think that should be there.
I'm getting motion sick when I read it sideways.
Oh, really?
Which one, this one?
Yeah,
Unless otherwise indicated in writing as part of the application, the act of submitting an application shall constitute
an act of intent
an act of intent to
to
abandon.
abandon any existing use of the property. Such abandonment shall be effective no later than the date of the application.
So you're wondering why you struck number 7?
I think I remember talking about it. I can't remember what we talked about.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, this is under applications. I think we should talk, because if you. So, I can just. Okay, first thing that comes to me is if they made an application and decided not to do that, so it's gonna abandon that. I don't wanna give up what I used it before.
Sure.
I think that's why it was struck.
Yeah, town council approved that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all of these have been gone through.
Town
The
council,
boards,
okay.
yeah.
Well, I question that only because of the strikeouts before.
Right.
All right, so I just wanna be sure,
Understandable.
okay? So I think
That's
that would have
accurate.
been my, yeah. Okay, so next is nothing changed, number 9. Has a strikeout in the second sentence of information And then an add-in of subdivision approval, let's address it then. Specified in the decision, no? Either by implementing or providing narrative. Added, explaining why. Submitted with definitive plan, yeah, so that's okay. And then D, we're back into fees here. But D1 refers to the appendix E.
Yeah.
And it's struck out. So I've seen this a number of times since we did that first one that you said was a regulation. Aren't these all regulations?
These are all regulations.
So are we sure that the first one we talked about that had fees from the $50 to $150 and the $150 to $300? Wouldn't that,
I'm thinking fines and violations, from what I understand, town council.
Oh,
not
instead of-
recommend they go into the fee
okay,
schedule.
instead of fee, all right, that's different, okay,
Because enforcement isn't different.
yeah, right, understand. Yeah, so that went there. Number 2, inward fee schedule, again, that's all gonna go to the appendix E. Nothing else added. 3, stormwater, same thing on the fee schedule. And then down to 3, 6 print copies of the, that's true, because it used to be 15. So change it to 6. 1 electronic copy in PDF format, original plan is required. And then again here, for 1 is a 6 print, and then the 1 electronic copy. Question. All of these that are being changed, where there are amendment dates already there, like 2013, these are now going to show amended dates of May. Would it be the May meeting? Would it be that
No,
meeting?
these are not. These
Oh,
are not
no,
approved
these
by
aren't.
By town meeting, these are the
Okay.
planning board's changes.
Okay, so these are gonna have, what date?
The date that you vote on them and I turn them into the town clerk, so is it?
For the regulations?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our review after town council's review right now. Okay, everybody get that? Because everything we agreed on that's gonna be changed now is gonna have tonight's date.
Sure.
Well, if we,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that's the intent.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, are we correct that number 2 is all struck out?
Yeah.
Except for the photo reduced plan.
Yeah, no photo review.
Okay, right. These are things we don't do anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping. So 3 is just a cross out of the so as to, but then 2 is to fit. Yeah, okay, fine. 4 is 11, yeah, totally crossed out. That's about a photo thing. 5 is taken out because we have our stormwater management's different, is separate. Is that
Yeah, I
correct?
think that was a duplicative.
Yeah,
duplicative,
and
if I
then there's
recall.
that NPD
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
again. Okay. All right, so that's out. Public hearing, so. Circulated, published, that's out of general newspaper of general circulation in the town once in each of 2 consecutive weeks. Certified abutters list, tax list is out. That's a clarification. And then documented proof of such filing, that's out. Number 3, at the public hearing, that's all struck out. Is it supposed to be? Because I see an underscore. At the public hearing, the applicant will be allowed 15 minutes to present an overview of the subdivision. This should include a brief discussion of the current conditions, proposed layout, which has been underscored, and the proposed drainage. The applicant is responsible for furnishing any easels or, okay, so this is what happens, is it supposed to come
Yeah,
out?
and it really, yeah, town council did mention that, these are basic.
That we
public
do?
Hearing activities that don't need to be spelled out in regulations.
Right, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. After the presentation, this is again, what we do,
Yeah,
the next thing.
remember,
Okay, so that's coming out of regulations. So, and the next one, number 5,
same thing.
same thing. Number 6. Why is this not the same thing?
This is probably left in, I'm guessing, these are all town council's comments, but I'm assuming the applicant will be given reasonable opportunity to rebut statements made at a public hearing and to respond to the comments of the
Okay.
board's consultant.
Yeah.
That just,
Yeah.
it protects the applicant.
Right, okay. 7, and that is remaining with the report of the Board of Health may be received or acknowledged during the public hearing. That is different. Accepted outside of the bounds of the public hearing is struck out.
Right.
Okay. Approval and endorsement. The board will decide whether to approve, the whether or not came out, modify and approve or disapprove the application. Okay. Again, I think that's clarification. The board may make modifications reasonable in a written decision signed by the majority of the board or by the board's designee. Okay, that's all right. I mean, that's what we do, but maybe that should be still there. And in 2, time frame is taken out and reasonable period was put in. 3, or by the board's designee is something that we do now, so, okay. Was not always done. The plan submitted for final approval to the separate instrument has been removed and written decision by the board identifying the conditions, okay. 5, there's a cross out of cashiers and then cashiers is put back in.
Right, with an apostrophe.
Do an apostrophe,
Grammar.
okay, grammar. Revised inspection schedule, facilitate in, change to facilitate identifying such slimes. Okay. The per inspection shall be again sent to the schedule. The per inspection was taken out because it's already up there. All right. Brett, I'm going as fast as I can.
That's okay.
I just have to finish the hearing part.
Sure.
Under 8, we have crossed out by the town of Ways. We had a discussion on ways.
The legal way to
Of
reference it.
any way within a subdivision as a public way, okay. Okay, and under maintenance improvements, number 1, whichever comes first has been crossed out, provided that the town has and shall have no obligation to do so. And then streets has been crossed out and the roadways themselves inserted, sidewalks, lightings, and other electrical fixtures and appurtenances.
Seems like a spelling error.
Is that correct?
What are you looking at? I'm sorry.
I1.
Appurtenance, yeah, I1, we
Third row up from the
inserted,
bottom.
yeah, and other electric fixtures and, is that a correct word?
Appurtenance?
Oh. There you go.
Thank you for joining me.
There, yeah.
Sorry.
You look at it sideways, it just sounds funny, you know?
Okay. Well, I was looking
Yeah,
straight
yeah,
on
well,
and it sounded
is still
funny,
funny. It's
so.
still funny. I'm with you, Lori.
Okay. Not within any subdivision lot. Okay, we inserted that. Okay, number 2 is all stricken out. Is that correct?
Yep.
The applicant shall demonstrate the financial ability to perform such meeting. Oh, yeah, we had a discussion on that. Why would we ask that?
Yeah.
Isn't there in a lot of these cases a bond?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
3, the board may require, let's see, such monies is just a spelling. The property functioning stormwater management system, that's an insert. Again, so there will be a date. Every place there's an insert or a change is gonna be a date. 4, spelled out. Operation and maintenance plan. And it's a repeat, so deleted. Okay. Nothing, nothing is with nothing. Status reports, 1. You took out construction and put in construction, looks the same, just with the comma, okay,
Yeah.
there's a comma. So
Leave it in.
number 2, is totally out.
Mhm.
Financial, oh, we did talk about that too. This was requiring, no, we're not doing that, yeah. Unexpected events that imply additional, nothing there. Okay, now we're gonna go to straight up. Article 5, and this is the stormwater. Okay, 2 seconds. 1 through pages here, so, 175-38 administration, we've added in the stormwater bylaw, because there now is one. Again, dates have to be put on all of this. Stormwater bylaws, and then under A, stormwater bylaw, well, let's see, 175-37, no, that's not underlined, that was already there. Okay, so the change, I thought it was here, so it was added here in A. And then number 2, in the absence of an agent, the planning board shall be the permit granting authority for minor projects. Gave ourselves something else there. In B, on the next page, the authority or its agents. That's what's added.
That was added?
Added the or its agents.
Mhm.
Nothing else on that page. Nothing else on the following page. This one's fairly new versus the other ones. And under 175-42 fees, the 1 or agent. And nothing else there. And under 175-44 stormwater management, A, applicability is underscored. So that's added. Proposed development is changed to proposed activity. And then construction, is changed to the activity. And then we add authority or agent within that same paragraph.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that page. And then nothing on the next page. And then towards the bottom, 175-45, operations and maintenance. Upon approval, what's added is for all projects. And that's it for that page. I like this one much better. And then on the following page, B, stormwater management. Easements is taken out, license, and inserted is license for inspections and maintenance. And then there's a paragraph added, as a condition of approval of any permit issued under the stormwater bylaw and whether or not expressly made a part of any decision issued by the authority, the applicant and or owner, as appropriate, shall grant to the town of Townsend a license sufficient in location and extent to access property in all areas used for off-site stormwater control in order to facilitate inspections and to perform required maintenance. And then 1 was removed, unless waived by the authority, stormwater management easement shall be granted to the town of Townsend. Yeah, okay, so the other was basically part of that. 2, the owner shall record any easements with the Middlesex that's been taken out.
Why? Do you know?
Did you ask more?
Yeah,
Because the easement is no longer required.
right. That's why it's not
It's
recorded.
going to be a
Oh, it's not,
license.
A
okay.
license,
It's called a license for inspection and maintenance.
Okay,
which is the paragraph above.
right, I just didn't understand.
Okay, so that paragraph takes the place of these 2 things that were already
Right.
in the regulation.
Okay,
That's it for that page. And then enforcement, we've added the failure to comply with post-construction or O&M requirements from 175-45 may result in enforcement action pursuant to 85-7 of the stormwater bylaw. Okay, so it's an insert, and then you go down to 175-47 regarding the inspection and site supervision under B. But after erosion and sedimentation controls have been installed, and that's the last sentence added to that portion. Number 2, following inspections, a sentence was added. Significant non-compliances or deviations from the approved plans or permit conditions may be subject to enforcement if not previously approved by the authority or agent. And that's all on that page. Okay, following page, we go to E, final inspection and report, number 2, and deviations shall be accompanied by technical evidence which shows the project still meets the purposes and provisions of these regulations. And that is added.
And here it says 5 copies of the as-built, but other places you've asked for 6 copies. Why is there a difference for 5 here and 6 everywhere else?
Was it 6 and 1 or was it?
There was 6, I remember you saying 6 copies. I was just,
Is that the subdivision?
I didn't know if
That's
there's,
under subdivision.
I mean, I didn't know
I don't-
why there's a difference in copies. I don't care, because it's less copies in the file cabinets that have to be disposed of.
Well, I just brings to my attention here. I have to go back.
I just remember we were.
Well, I'm looking at 8 photocopies.
Oh,
I'm looking at a sentence that says 8
8.
photocopies and another one that says 9 prints.
okay.
It's under 175-12, preliminary subdivisions. Number 4, I thought we went over this page, but, now that I was looking for the copy thing that you were talking about. So if you go to 5, application shall contain the following. It says 9 prints and 1 digital file in PDF. And then when you go down to C, that's A. When you go to C, it says 8 photocopies of the complete application together with 8 photo reductions of the plans reduced to 11 inches by 17 inches. We don't do that. We do that?
So what would you need to change then?
Well,
Where did the,
this is under 175-12,
okay,
preliminary subdivisions.
a preliminary,
Okay, and then you go down to, 5A. And it says 9 prints.
okay, so you want to change that to how many?
Whatever all of them are.
I think, I remember 6 was being used a lot.
6, okay.
And then
How many do we need? How
I
many
have
do
that
you need?
changed.
you need one for every department.
How many, is that
Well,
6
how many
departments?
departments is there then?
Yeah, we really don't need more than 6, so for sure.
You
Okay,
don't need more than
Okay.
6, then I just make everything 6.
yeah,
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, even like 5, maybe you wanna change 5 to 6,
Yeah,
which is,
like 6 would be.
2.
well, should
Let's see.
it just be
Yeah,
5 in the PDF? How many
section-
departments do you need it for?
175,
Well,
47.
Departments, it's the
175,
members who want to
47
take a copy home with
to,
them
was
to
it
review it,
F?
you know what I mean, so. I guess 5 is fine, I could do that.
No, E2.
I think we'll go with
Was
5.
it was E?
Go to 5, that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, cause it takes
Oh,
up less
5 copies,
space in your file cabinets.
Yeah, no, we don't keep them, so, I mean, it's just in the recycle.
yeah, if we don't, yeah,
On that number 2, E2, it says 5 copies of the as-built plan.
That's where we were.
Yeah, I think that's where, I think she's gonna go down to 5 everywhere.
Yeah. I can add a copy.
No, but on that subject,
I thought,
it doesn't say what type of copies. Is that a PDF or
No,
a digital copy or what?
where?
Oh, this is on,
Number 2,
it's 175-47 E2.
yeah.
175-47, you're back in stormwater?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's E2.
2,
170.
No, it should be.
it says as-built plan.
E2.
The very last
5
sentence,
copies.
the very
Is
last,
it B or E?
E,
E2.
E2.
Oh, here,
It's the very
Last
last
sentence,
sentence.
E2,
Major project?
it says 5 copies of the as-built plan shall be submitted to the authority.
So is that a PDF or,
You need to put all that digital whatever thing in there
Yeah, I can add that in.
to make it consistent with all the other.
Copies of the as-built plans shall be submitted to the authority. Okay. And put in the PDF, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah, make it the same as all the other plans,
Yeah,
whatever the verbiage is.
yeah, okay.
Make it all the same.
You know, if you're finding that, if you're saying that the copies are for the planning board, and normally you've been putting everything into the portals,
Yeah.
I don't think that most of us come in, and
So you want to go down to 3, maybe? 3?
I think that's enough. I
Yeah.
mean,
The
that's just an
only-
additional
the only-
expense on the
yeah.
applicant. I don't see it being,
I'm sorry, what is it?
do you come in and get plans? To review?
Yeah, you can
No.
like.
No,
make them with
I
you.
don't.
Oh, no.
Okay. I'm trying to not have that expense on the applicant.
right, so a
Okay.
digital file should be sufficient.
Yeah,
The only time you need a physical plan is when you're making a presentation.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I think one, you know, one and one.
sounds good. So 3, down to 3? Well, sometimes we do distribute them internally, so if we have,
Fine, okay.
Right,
So 3 copies of everything and 1 digital file.
right,
On wherever we're asking for stuff.
right.
that
Well,
sounds good.
there'll be
3,
presentation plans,
1 office copy.
and then there'll be
What else we?
endorsed plans that are historic records of signature and approvals and stuff.
Nothing here,
So those would be the only
nothing there.
physical drawings.
And actually, one of the
Scenic
copies
road.
goes to the town clerk file.
Just is on the fees.
But I know,
Article
But that could
4,
be it.
which is hearings
when
and.
I was doing the files, because I was the Massachusetts guidelines,
This is a fine.
it
Yeah.
does say that you have to keep 1 copy of all
Yeah.
plans forever.
Okay, I'm gonna rein it in here, okay? We're back on to Article 4,
Right,
and if you go down to B,
scenic roads.
So everything's gonna be 3 copies, right? Okay,
yeah, 3 copies and 1 digital.
perfect. And where were you?
We're Article 4, hearings under Scenic Road Act. 175.34 fees, B. The change is just to look at the fee schedule,
Right,
okay? And then, yay, the next is the fee schedule. Okay. Which is all the increases that we did.
right, we did this all.
And I'm just gonna question scenic, what, there's crossouts under the scenic roads application. And however fees covered in bylaw and,
Yeah, so I thought it would be wise to leave that out. So you might wanna just, vote on the table after town meeting. Do you know what I mean? Like, or can you do that? You know what I mean? I don't wanna put anything in there, regulations that is inaccurate or not reflected by the town meeting vote. If something were not to, pass so maybe that was my hesitation on putting it in the table.
okay.
You could approve this fee schedule.
We can add though to the fee schedule anytime, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Later, right? Yeah,
Yeah, you only need to,
Or we can amend it or correct it.
yeah, as far as I know, you will have to have a public hearing like tonight,
Right,
which is
to
not
do that.
a big deal during a regular meeting. You just.
that was the whole
Right.
idea, yeah.
Okay,
So,
Okay.
yeah, I kind
because
of.
that's the only question in the schedule, right?
Yeah,
Is the
and then
scenic
I
road?
was just noticing the other one about, okay, yeah, I did put site compliance inspections at 50 per site, and, okay, that's the other one I wanted to make sure I had in there. So, yeah, this can be amended, I can put in, the scenic roads application fee, but I don't know if it's advisable. Well, I did put it in for the, solar bylaw, right?
Why don't you ask, town council about that? Because this fee schedule is what we recommended,
Exactly, yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So ask them if there's something else we have to do, but if we have to have a public hearing for a tweet, to tweak something,
Yeah,
So
that's not gonna be as much as what we went through tonight.
no, no.
So-
You could do it at a regular meeting.
I thought we were trying to, so if we vote on this, this is, every time the ski fee schedule changes, we have to vote on it again. I thought we were trying to eliminate that.
Right, exactly, but I was a little leery of making, having you vote on it before town meeting actually agreed to the change, so that's why I left it out, but we can, but I don't think it should go into the code until town meeting has its vote, right? I don't know.
Well, the
Is
town
the
meeting will
town
have
meeting
to,
voting on the fee schedule?
no,
No.
we don't want them voting on this fees.
No, they're not, but town meeting is voting to approve your
Scenic road?
recommendation to pull those fees out of the bylaw. So, I
Oh.
mean, and some wacky reason, you know. someone
Oh, I
comes up-
see. So we have to show them that we're pulling them out of the bylaw. Well, that's already presented in what we just
Right.
did.
Yeah,
So I don't think,
it's okay to put, you think it's okay to put them in here, I'll put them in, or I could just leave those we could leave those sections out for now.
I
And then I
think
can
we
have
leave
this
them
at
out,
the town meeting.
right?
Okay.
Because what we're gonna be communicating is we're gonna have a separate fee schedule, so we don't have to modify this all the time.
Yeah, I don't care if we wait, we can wait until the end of May.
Okay,
And
for the
make-
fee schedule?
Yeah, and just make
Everything
them,
else, you know, you would probably want to approve everything else though, because, you know, and
Yeah.
accept this. We can wait on this.
yeah, I don't see anything wrong with voting on it after and having it effective, as of July 1st, next fiscal year.
But yeah, that's
You give
true,
notice.
or making the changes that you made also, and then
Is there
coming back
some-
and amending this in another time, because you could start collecting the fee hikes now.
But is there some language in here that, that the, fee schedule be modified periodically or something, you know?
No,
There's no language to
It's a
that.
regulation.
Should we have that?
I think it'd be
Huh?
up to our own.
Okay.
It's a new addition to your regulation.
All right,
It's something that has to
I'm
be
good
looked
with
at.
that.
Any,
Any
You know, it could be-
responsible board, I would
it
think.
could be every year, it could be, it's just that it's been so long
Right,
that
Yeah.
it needs to be done. So
So,
I will now entertain a motion by the board to put the final stamp on the edits that we've made to the regulations.
I make a
Planning board
motion,
regulations.
I make a motion that we approve the modifications and edits that were reviewed tonight. Which was the intent of the hearing.
Seconded.
Okay, any further discussion? Just as a side note, we'll leave the fee schedule out until after the annual meeting
Right,
and take a roll call vote.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Darian, yes?
Andrew Shepherd, yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes. So that is done. Thank you all very much for your time. And-
the only thing that I'm worried about though is if you don't approve this fee schedule, then there is no, you know, we took them out of the regs, so now what do we do for applications to do well? I'm almost thinking you should.
There'll be a rush of
Okay, it's as of
applications.
today.
Right,
Wait a
everyone's
minute.
gonna be like, oh, I
She's
did
right.
it.
Sure, sure.
She's right.
The A&Rs
Because we
is
just
done.
voted to take them out. What we just did does not go to town meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, because of regulations.
So if they're in,
So I'll,
there's no double fee, it's just. If we
there's
do
no
approve-
fee.
No, but I'm saying if we don't remove the fee schedule and we do approve the fee schedule tonight, and until the town meeting approves the change in the.
We just went through every single line item that had that in it. That's what we just approved.
Sure,
Okay.
okay, yeah,
I'll entertain a motion to approve the new fee schedule
so moved.
as of today. And then if we have to tweak scenic roads or whatever
Do it.
after, we can do it after.
Okay.
Okay?
I second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
So who made the motion? I'm sorry.
Andrew? Robert seconded. Roll call vote.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Darian, yes?
Andrew Shepherd, yes.
Laura Schifrin, yes. Thank you very much. Okay.
I'll be recused from my fire guy.
You don't have,
Oh,
yeah, you don't have
Do I?
to, but you can also
And I will just sit.
make a, you did great, you know, the regulations are done, but the zoning bylaw amendments, the planning board will need to have a report and a vote.
You can do that tonight if you want, or you can do it after the close of tonight's hearing at the next meeting, and I can help you with that. You know, at April 8th or April 29th, as long as it's before town meeting. However, when the warrant goes to print, you want to actually have the planning board report, I believe, in the warrant, so you might want to do that tonight. You could just vote on the amendments to 14586, and that's the only one, right? Yeah, that's the only zoning bylaw, 14586, the renewable energy, removal of the fees. So for that one, statutory process is you have to, you know, vote on it after the public hearing and generate a report for town meeting. It should be a very simple report, but that's the only one.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the changes that the zoning board made to 145-86 renewable alternative energy fee extraction and added to the fee table. That's the motion, right?
So moved.
Andrew, okay, thank you, Carol. Any further discussion?
I don't know what this is all about.
If they remove the fee schedule to the alternative energy bylaw.
The description, that we need a description as a report from the planning board.
Who's the second?
And we agreed with that.
Because that wraps it all up. You know what I'm saying? So at town meeting, they're gonna say, we're removing the fees from the bylaw, where are they going? And you're gonna say in the fee schedule that you approved tonight.
Yes.
And then the bylaw review committee, oh wait, you will have to make a report, I believe, on the other zoning bylaws, but you don't have to do that tonight if you don't want.
Well, though, the other two were basically just their edits to it.
Yeah,
There was nothing really major in the corrections that they made, so.
you don't have to vote on them, but you will, every time the zoning bylaws change,
We
the
have to
planning
do a
board
report.
makes a report, correct. So in that report, it will be, yes, we held a public hearing on April 1st. And, you know, the planning board recommends this article, or the planning board does not recommend this article.
Well, there are changes to the article. Recommends their changes to the article.
No, the warrant article, the outdoor lighting bylaw repeal is its own warrant article.
Okay, and the other two?
As is the accessory apartments, it's separate warrant articles. But the reason they're here tonight is because they're changes to the zoning bylaw. They're in the body of the zoning bylaw.
Yeah,
So I don't think you have to do your report tonight. Like I said, you will have to do it on the 8th, or you could do it now, and I could write it up and submit it, you know. So what you're voting on is the planning board recommends the removal of the outdoor lighting bylaw from the zoning bylaw,
the fees.
or not approved.
Yeah.
And then the other one would be recommend the proposed changes to the accessory apartments in the residential district, or not. I guess you could do those tonight. Or you could wait till the 8th. Fine with me. Sorry.
I think we can vote on them. I think we can vote on them. We're gonna vote on them.
Okay. Thank you.
145-86.
Oh, you did, yeah. you're
Yeah.
done.
Can we just do that? Andrew and Carol? I'll take a roll call vote.
Carol Hoff says yes.
Robert Theron, yes.
Andrew Shepherd, yes.
Laura Schifrin, yes. 145-52 outdoor lighting. Changes proposed by the bylaw review committee. Is there a motion to accept those changes made by the bylaw review committee regarding the zoning?
So moved.
You had that right? She has it. Is there a second?
Robert,
Robert, second. Any further discussion? Remember, we already discussed this. I'll take a roll call vote.
Carol Hoff says yes.
Robert Therin, yes.
Andrew Shepherd, yes.
Laura Schiffern, yes. 145-36 accessory apartments in residential district, changes proposed by the bylaw review committee.
I make a motion to
To
accept.
accept. A
Second.
And a second. Can we expound on that at all? Or no?
Who was on second?
I was,
Yeah, thank you.
we can probably speak at town meeting, right? Or
Pardon?
Okay,
Lori was asking if
That's
we
our
can
motion.
expand about
yeah, can we
expand on it.
expound on it?
Oh, in the report you can, sure. This vote will just be part of your planning board report,
Okay.
so you can draft that.
Okay,
Carol Hoff says yes.
Robert Therin, yes.
Andrew Shepherd.
and Laura Schiffern, yes.
And I hate to take you back to the 145-86, but I didn't get a first and a second on that.
It was Andrew, it was Carol and Andrew,
Okay.
for the first and the second.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Are we good?
Yeah.
You can't leave it. Okay, so I am going to now close the public hearing. Something I miss sometimes,
8:32.
8:32 PM. Motion to close, do I need a motion to do that? Have them vote to close the public hearing?
Your vote will close the hearing.
Okay, and we'll have to show that, Brett and his wife were here during the public hearing. Right, okay. All right, so that's closed. And now, finally on our number 3, A&R 66 Bayberry Hill Road, WK Realty Trust, lot lines redrawn, reconfigured lots.
I believe I still have to recuse myself with Brett as my fire deputy.
Oh, no, we're not. No, this is a
No, we're good?
subdivision control.
All
Yeah,
right.
there's nothing.
All right, good.
The planning board
It's
has to
an A&R, I don't
basically
think
follow
so.
state law, so
Yeah.
there's not a lot of options on this.
I need to go, I need things to go.
It was before it went straight across. Here, you guys did sign, we did endorse the A and R from in January of 2023. And I'll let you present.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is January 2023. This is January 2024. This is the latest one.
You endorsed
You want
that
to just tell us?
Sure,
what you did?
how about I show you?
Yeah.
On the, site. So what we found out is when we bought the property, the A&R was, the first A&R was done. So then we contacted our engineer, had him do this design. But we found out that there ended up being a flaw because of this property line. So if this fellow ever wanted to put up a fence, he could block off this guy's driveway. And if this guy ever wanted to put up a fence, he could block off this guy's driveway.
I remember
So that
that.
didn't work too well.
No.
So we went then and had the A&R amended to this. Of course, this plan doesn't show it because not until it's approved.
Right.
So this is what we now propose. So this property line ends up coming up in here and kind of tails off in this direction. The easement stays the same, everything stays the same. The big change is after.
It's just a lot lines.
It's just a rear lot line adjustment,
Has nothing to do with frontage.
nothing to do with frontage. No.
Okay, and so my question was, Jessica reviewed this. Everything here still meets all the guidelines.
For an A&R, yes.
For an A&R.
Endorsement, yes.
Okay,
Building commissioner reviewed it, assessors reviewed it, and I went through the A&R requirements. So.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the A&R for, which is now plan dated January 2024.
And you would accept the scale.
This is,
Typically, you just accept and waive the scale requirement of the 40, because you don't even need like a waiver,
No.
but you just go to how it shows the scale is.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the A&R plan as presented and to accept the plan, and to waive the, scale
Of 1 to 40.
of 140.
So moved.
So second,
I second.
okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote,
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Robert Theron here.
Laura Schiffern.
Yes,
Yes, has to be a yes. Well, I mean, it has to be your vote.
yes.
Laura Schiffern, yes.
Andrew Shepherd,
Abstain.
abstention.
Okay. Okay,
Sure.
all right, and sorry it took so long. but
Oh, that's okay.
Let me get them to sign this for you.
At least we got it done.
Perfect.
I had to sign the Mylar.
Oh, perfect. No,
No, you will, but I just figured this one first and then we can get them on their way.
We just need to be able to sign. Okay.
More signing.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Have a good night, folks. Thank you.
Oh,
See you guys.
okay, so next is, our next meeting discussion. Is there any reason for us to meet next week?
Don't have anything on the agenda right now, so, nope.
So I would like to defer to April 29th. That's after the election. You good? Would the board be good?
As long as we don't have anything, there's no,
Yeah.
no issue.
I can't
There's
see
one
us.
stormwater management permit application in, but it is going to peer review and then the public hearing can open on the 29th.
so we're having a meeting a week from now, right?
No, we're not.
Good.
There's no reason for us to meet, and so that's why I want the discussion of, no, we're not meeting, and it's okay for us to wait until, April 29th?
Yep.
Yeah,
That would be fine. Yeah. And anything comes up with, in terms of the warrant, because I know that's going to print on the 19th, I believe, the 19th warrant. So if anything comes up, I'll, notify you, whatever. I don't anticipate anything.
April 19th? Is the
Yes.
warrant
Yeah, it would be the
being
print, I think the print date for the warrant, yeah.
So if we have to meet for something on the 29th, we can.
Oh, no, I'm
no.
thinking if anything needs to be changed on the warrant. it's
For
gonna be-
us.
Yeah, and I don't anticipate anything will need to be changed, but I just thought I'd let you know.
Okay.
I will keep you
The
notified.
planning board report, will
Yes,
Laura,
that,
will you
I'll draw that up.
expand, you'll draw it up and
So-
you as chair will.
Yeah, she will approve it and review it, and you guys.
Yeah.
And that will go to town meeting. It's basically addressed to town meeting, so.
Okay,
So what would be
Well,
our next planning board meeting?
I would have everybody look at it,
Okay.
Yeah.
okay, after she does.
So what would be the next meeting?
April 29th.
April 29th.
We don't
Or
know.
May something, who knows?
April 29th.
You think so?
Yeah.
If we don't need to meet, we won't. We are not meeting on the 8th,
Okay,
okay?
that's good.
And then after that, good luck in the election. And we can meet on the 29th. If not, it'll be, what's on the schedule for May?
Town meeting, so May dates.
Oh, so after, it'll be after town meeting.
So that's the thing, it will be after town meeting.
All right, well, in the meantime, just have a good time.
Thank you.
And
I'll be
if
out
you
on
need
leave.
something from us, you'll just let us know.
Okay, oh, thank you.
And,
Thank you very much. Perfect.
and tonight was worth going the distance here.
That was
Getting
Nice
it
and
done.
Getting this done.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
I
great.
agree.
Motion to adjourn?
And now I'll accept a motion to adjourn
Thank you, Matt.
at
Andrew.
8:41 PM.
I'll second that motion.
Okay,
Roll call vote?
roll call vote,
Carol Hoff says yes.
Robert Darian, yes.
Andrew Shepherd, yes?
and Laura Schiffern, yes.